This is where the East Coast Younga Dryas Tsunami made contact with Australia, and we'll do an aerial view looking at about 200, 300 kilometres in, starting at the south, looking at the textures and the flat areas to see if that's from all the mud sediment build-up, looking at the mountain ranges to see if there's any evidence to show that there's some inconsistencies with the way these mountain ranges have been created. Now this strange rock escarpment, and we can see here varieties of textures, but particularly here where the fingers, it's as if water's been rushing off here. There's been a huge amount of water up here, creating this pattern, filling the valleys, leaving behind materials that have been there for 10,000 years. So I'd like to see some sort of I'd like to see some form of archaeology on some of these places, particularly the top of Kosciuszko, to find if there's any marine life, because they found that whale in Victoria. They think it's from millions of years ago. I think it's from these two tsunamis, and they have no real way of testing. Now look at that flat spot here, the lighter grey colour. Here again, as if something splat down, and then all the sediment would have to gather somewhere. It stays in the valleys, but I'm trying to imagine how much of this wave was just mud, splat down like a volcano. Now the logging starts with Queensland. This little mountain range looks like it's been filled in. We need to do a model on Australia to fill it with water to try and get an idea where this water would have finished up. Here we go again. Over Brisbane. It's quite built up. There's more of the effects. Now the country veers to the left where the barrier reef starts. I believe the waves entered over the lowlands here and ripped up the reef. If it wasn't for the tsunami, perhaps we wouldn't have this reef. So anyway, to think about that when you think about climate change. What's the future going to look like with such catastrophic? But it doesn't seem like we'll be too catastrophic with slow rising. Just people will be made to move. We've got to stop being so unfriendly. Look at all this landscape. So coming up to Cape York now, we'll see where the waves started to starts to crash straight over the country. So a lot of people would have passed away, so the stories would come from other tribes that would spread out over time, so there'd be variations in some of the stories, but they'd come from one source. And then there was another tsunami. So that's how the rainbow serpent stories are so prominent, because this is rainbow serpent catastrophe. Anyway, this is Cape York. Thanks for watching the aerial. See ya. Oh yeah, put a bit of Papua New Guinea in. That's the mountain range. You can see a face, which is a knot where the water's done an eddy, and it's ripped here. You can see a little where it's retreating, and the scarring.